all the sun, but it's a very important subject, I feel. Of course, I'm biased about all my work, but that's besides the point. I just wonder if anybody's coming on to see us. Oh, we are getting some folks. That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. So people, I wonder if people have the day off or not today. Washington's pretty slow. There's not, I don't even know if it's an official government holiday, but probably a lot of people didn't come in because of, the long weekend, that kind of stuff. But right down here in the nation's capital, we're at 16th and Pennsylvania Avenue. Yeah, that's Mr. Trump's new abode. Yeah, from 5th Avenue to 16th, so he's moving up in the world. Let's see, we got anybody here, so I can start this because it's pretty important stuff, I think, that people don't know about. I want to make sure that as many people as possible know about these things. They're important. Hi! People call me the Riddler. Let's see, anyway, so, well, okay, I think we have a quorum, don't we? And those can see you later. But I don't know if you realize that there's really, the banks will give you free grant money. That's right. Now, I'm in front of a bank here. This is SunTrust Bank. I don't know if they do it, but I'll show you how to find out if your bank does it. And also across the street there is Bank of America. They're right on the corner because across the street the other way is the Treasury buildings, okay? Now what happens is the Treasury gives grant money to the banks, okay, like that one over there, and this one over here, and then they give it to you, to people. So it's not really their money. The investors will still make all the money they want, which is gazillions nowadays, but it's given individual grant money to people who deposit money in their bank. And what it works like this, it's called the individual development accounts, okay? And they're in, hundreds and hundreds of banks around the country. And what happens, if you put in $1 into a savings account in that bank, they'll give you an extra $3, okay? So for every $1 you put in, they put an extra $3. Sometimes it's $4, sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's $8. Yeah. So it's, and sometimes it's only $2. So that's what's neat. Now, who would ever know about that, man? So you actually can get free grant money from banks. Isn't that great? Man, I never knew such a thing existed. So that's right. I mean, we live in a country now where, listen to this, 63% of us, 63% of the country, can't afford an emergency $500 bill or like a $1,000 bill. So $500, 63% of us, if you get an emergency $500 bill, you're screwed. Somebody sent you an invoice, a dental thing, a car broke down and stuff like that. So people are hurting. See, and this is individual retirement accounts. These are not for fat cats. So if you're making a lot of money, you're not going to get this grant. But if lower middle income people can get this grant. Now, how do you find out about the grant? See, that's the only thing. And does your place have it? Okay, there's a national database. There's a couple places to learn, but I think one of the easiest places is a national database of these things, and it's called prosperitynow.org. Okay, prosperitynow.org. If you go to that website, and actually if you put prosperitynow.org/map, prosperitynow.org/map. And then you'll see a map of the United States, and you'll see all the programs there, all the banks that give out free grant money. That's right, free grant money from banks. And that's at these banks. And so they're all listed there so you can find out. Now, another way to find out about these banks is actually through, every county has something called wow, community, I write about this thing, Community Action Center. Okay, Community Action Center, that's in every county. So you could just call up 211, ask for your local Community Action Center, and they may know about even more of these individual development accounts that may be not even on that list, okay? Now what you have to do though, this is money that you can't spend for anything. It's money really that has to be used for a purpose. So it's developing yourself. So individual development. So that's mean this is money you have to use, like to buy a house. So you want to save money to buy a house. You put in $1 and then you get a grant of $3 or $4 or something like that. You know, or to start a business. So that's another thing. Or to get an education. So here's a way, it's like winning the lottery, or actually going to Vegas or something like that and winning money. So just as long as you put money in, you get money out, but it's a sure winner. So, I mean, what an easy way to get grant money. And from a bank. Who the heck would have known about that thing? See, that's why I think that, we just don't know what to ask for. How would you know to go into a bank and and say, yes, I would like a grant from you? And they'll say, no, don't go to the bank. They'll probably send you across the street over there to the government, treasury office or the White House or something like that. And say, that's where you get the grant money. But no, it's not. See, it's actually from banks. But see, they probably don't even know they do it. That's why you have to come armed with bureaucrats, whether it's in the private sector or public sector. You almost have to know ahead of time what they have. Because the bureaucrat you talk to maybe just started a job yesterday. Or you can't know. I mean, I have a house with 4 people in it. I don't know what they're doing all the time. So imagine somebody working in an organization with thousands of people. They don't know what the hell it is, what's going on there. So that's why you have to get armed with what it has, and they then go back to them and say, hey, I'd like one of these too. Where do I get it? And that's what it is. And that's right. Don't say grants. I mean, you have to use their terminology, because they'll say, no, we don't give out grants. No, they don't. But they have something called individual development accounts. And that's a grant. That's money you don't have to pay back. So, wow. See, that's why it's all about jargon. That's why if you're going on Google or something like that and looking for grant money, you won't find this because it's not listed under grants. So Google's not going to find it for you. And you can't call up Google and ask them, hey, what did you, what other names did you index these things in? No, because it's robots doing it, right? And you'll never know. That's why you really have to get educated about this stuff, whatever. And that's what I'm trying to do, educated. So this is the website, that concentrates on individual development accounts, and that's prosperity now, N-O-W. .org. Remember, they're the people you want to go. You go to .org or .com. Everybody else, forget about them because they just want money from you. But .orgs or .coms are the people that give money to you, not take money from you. So that's why Google's a trap. It's a money trap. So you got to watch yourself there. So prosperitynow.org/map. And you'll get it. There's somebody beating the drum across the street. I don't know what it's for, but probably just to make noise. But I know a lot of people. Oh, actually, he's a musician. Playing congos. It looks like with sticks over there. So let me know, and let me know if I can help you do research, because that's what I do. Lesko.com/research, and I will find like 100 and some money programs like this that you could use to buy or fix up a house. I'll show you like 200 money programs like this that you could use to start or expand any business. Or I'll show you over 300 programs like this, actually 299, to just have money to live on. So if you're part of that, 63% who don't have an extra $500 if something happens in your life and you got to come up with it, I'll show you over 300 places to get that money, or to get stuff for free that you didn't know you could get for free and you've been paying for. That's the other thing the government has, that it's not called grants, but if you're if you're getting for free, if you're cutting your rent in half, you're not getting a grant to do it, but you're getting your rent at half price. So that's what you have to know, are these kind of programs like that. So let me know if I can help. Lesko.com/research. And I'll be here with more of this stuff. I just love educating people. And I think I've got about 20 more years left to do this. So I'll be out here as soon as I can again, and with new stuff. I got so much stuff. I'm sure you're not all interested, but I'm having fun doing it, and that's what counts. Peace. Have a good 4th of July with all the free money. But how many want to start a business? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want to start a business. I mean, I always wanted to my whole life. I got an MBA and everything, and what's going on? Educate me. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Who's that? Margalia Briasca. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I will. Oh, Thomas Bell. Okay, great. Cynthia Brown. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, we got to vote. Yes. Now, you think that's a real stretch when I talk about prom dresses and starting a business, isn't it? Well, I mean, that's the way I see it. Honest to God. I mean, I went through. I always wanted to start a business my whole life, since I was a little kid. My dad was an entrepreneur, but this is during the Second World War, and his parents were immigrants. Me too, just don't know what I want to do. That's okay. It doesn't matter. But what I want to do is get some of the stuff out of your brain that I had to get out of my brain through failing businesses. I mean, I even had a software company back in the 70s that failed. Right, I got an MBA in computers back in the 70s when the computers were bigger than my kitchen here, and I failed at that, and I did it like everybody told me, and I was going to these seminars and doing all this kind of stuff and whatever. And I was failing. I mean, I would buy the power furniture, to have a fancy looking office building. I have the sexy business cards and, the LLCs and the power furniture in my office, and the right, board of directors and all this kind of stuff, filing all the paperwork, the government, and all this kind of stuff they tell me, protecting my, with copyrights and patents and all this kind of stuff. Well, my first two businesses went belly up. It went, and they failed. Now, who won? The accountant I hired, the lawyer I hired, all these things that I hired that I was convinced I had to do because I was a smart guy. I have an MBA, And then I said to myself, man, all that stuff is bullshit. You don't need any of that stuff. I failed anyway, right? It didn't matter. And actually, I realized that, if I'm starting something more or less myself too, my time is the most important thing I have. How you spend your time is the most critical success thing to your business as anything. So when I would think about, okay, what is the most important thing that I can do with my time, okay? Okay, so I mean, see, there's 1,000 things you could do. You could meet with designers, for 85 hours designing the right, ad or business card or whatever it is, man. But that doesn't mean anything. You have to find what I call, and I'm sure other people do it, the critical success factor of your business. What's the most critical thing for you and your business? And to me, I think it's the customer. Everything else is nonsense. You don't care. It doesn't matter. You do without it, I mean, you don't need a patent. You don't need a copyright. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need power furniture. You don't need, all this kind of stuff that the so-called experts are going to scare the hell out of you that you need it. And sure, there's a logical reason for it, but you don't need it. You don't need it. You're going to have a pot to pee in yet. You don't even have a customer, and you're doing this. That's why, to me, it's like prom dresses. See, all these people are so-called helping you to start a business are like people who are selling you a prom dress before you're invited to the prom. That's what that's like. See, which is stupid, right? Why buy a prom dress before you even get invited to the prom? So forget all that stuff. Even in my third business, I didn't even file with the government, because I know it takes the government 3 years to find me. And I never lasted 3 years in the government, so I won't even be there. What the hell is that? Who cares? And the other thing is, if they do find you and you're still in business, so you pay a $50 fee. big deal. But if you're going to spend a half a day doing that stuff, you should spend a half a day getting a customer. And see, particularly in the beginning of a business, you don't know what the hell really works. You think you do, and you spent lots of time thinking about it, but you really don't know until you go out and sell it to somebody. And it's not asking your friends or relatives or experts, particularly experts don't know because they'll charge you for their, for their advice, and they don't know bupkis, right? Experts don't know. Experts couldn't tell that Donald Trump was going to be president. Experts couldn't tell that the stock market is going to crash. All the best experts in the world. Nobody knows. See, and that's why, so you're going to trust experts in your business when you don't even know. The only expert in your business is your customer. That's the only advice you take. So you go out, the first thing you do, whether you find out as cheap as hell, whether it's doing a website for 20 cents, and pretending you have a product or whatever, or doing a crowdfunding campaign for nothing and say, look, I'm going to make this product, or here's a product like this, I'm going to sell it, would you buy it? I'll bring it back in about 3 months or something. You want to know who's going to put up the money. That's the only, I had a big research firm downtown Washington, D.C. for many years. I helped Fortune 500 companies. And we used to do a lot of market studies. Man, market studies even full of baloney. Because you can get anything you really want, kind of thing. The only market study that's valuable is not asking people, would they buy this? It's asking them for money. And then when they say no, then ask them why. That's the way you learn. Don't spend money on all these experts and stuff like that, because they're just a waste of time. It sounds logical, and I got to protect myself, from my idea. But shit, everybody's so lazy. Nobody's going to steal your idea until it's sellable. So you got to go find out sell it. Then you protect it. Hey, this is going to sell. Because there's ways to get around even protecting that. If you go to the Business Development Center, and in that, if you go to lesko.com/5free, that's a free download of the best 5 places to get free help and money to do anything. And one of them there is for starting a business. So they'll show you how to protect your idea, like for $50. And you're good. And it's only for about a year or two, but that's long enough to see if there's any legs in this thing. Why spend thousands of dollars and lawyers and all this kind of nonsense, when you don't even have a customer yet, and that's silly. It sort of reminds me of when I was in college. I hated college. I hated studying and everything. And like a day before the exam or something, I would find anything to do except study for that exam. I'd be cleaning the oven. I didn't clean the oven in 10 years or probably my whole life. Ooh, that looks dirty. I should clean that. Anything to postpone the inevitable of having to study for that exam. And starting a business is the same. It's hard to try to get a customer. That's the hardest thing you're going to do. So why do all this? It's easy to spend money, but it's stupid, because you're spending money. And see, the thing to staying in business, having successful business, is not spending money, because you don't know what success means. You don't know how to get there. Nobody can tell you until you start going through all the processes. And spending money on lawyers and accountants and all that kind of stuff, that does nothing about the guarantee your success. That's a problem when you have a lot of money. When you have no money, don't worry about it. And just go out and find out what you can do as cheaply as possible to get a customer. That's it. And that's what the internet is so good. You could put up a store and put in, products like you want to sell, so that you start learning how to get customers like that, to build your own product and learn about that. You can even not develop a whole product, but like on crowdfunding, you can say, hey, I want to make this product, and you go out and put it on a crowdfunding campaign for $0 and see what people say. If they don't give you money ahead of time, then I got to rethink this thing. So that's before before you invested in lawyers, before you invested in office space or the fancy business cards or whatever, all you did was spend a few hours doing a crowdfunding campaign, and that's it. Now that's the real thing, because if people are giving you money, then hey, now you have the money, and now there's a market for it. That's why I think things like crowdfunding the internet are so much better than the old school of starting a business and getting venture capitalists and getting fat cats and things like that. Because these people, they're not your customers. So you're trying to figure out how to sell to some fat cat who has extra money and thinks that they could live off your success, and so you're trying to figure out how to sell to them, and then after you get their money, now you have to figure out if you can get a customer. But with crowdfunding, another thing, man, you're getting a twofer. The potential customers are giving you the money ahead of time, and that's what it. No matter how you do it, though, just ignore all this other stuff that people want to, have you spend money on marketing, have you spend money on accountants, lawyers, and stuff like that. You could get free, if you really need accounting help or something, you don't know how to write off a business in your home or something, you just call the IRS. They'll tell you right over the phone. I got a video on my on YouTube that I called the IRS and asked them that question, and they just tell you right over the phone how to do it. You need help with something, whatever it is. You're worried about legal stuff. Well, you go to that business development center where you live. They get free legal help for that. Don't spend a couple $100 an hour on a lawyer when no money's coming in. And that's just terrible, I think. Well, let's just share your video. Okay, thank you for sharing my video. And that's why I think the biggest trap people fall into. There's all these experts on the internet who tell you what you need to start a business, and they're telling you what they need to grow their business, not what you really need to start your business. I mean, they make a case, and it sounds logical, and it may somewhere, sometime, sound right, but all you're doing is postponing the inevitable, and what you do first is get customers. Screw everything else, because anything else is important. I mean, it may. I remember, even this theory worked for me when I was doing home shopping. I made millions of dollars down there. I sold like 30,000 books in 2 or 3 days, and it was like live on TV, and I could see how the phones are going depending on what I say. And the only thing that was, after doing that hundreds and hundreds of times, the only thing that seemed to be that mattered to the success or failure was if the idea was of value, and my enthusiasm. That was the two things. Whether I had testimonials, whether I had this, whether I had that, whether I had 15 other things or whatever. I mean, that was plus or minus 5%, 10% if I was lucky or whatever. But it wasn't critical to success. That's what you had to find. And particularly, you only have so much time. As an entrepreneur, your time is the most important thing you have. And that's the most important thing you have in life. So that's why, to me, somebody who takes an hour of your time, I'd rather have them take my shitty car. That I could get another car. You can't get another hour of your life back. So that's what I think. People rob you more of your time than they do of your possessions, because that's just junk in your life. How you're doing your life is more important. And that's why, starting a business or learning how to create income yourself. And there's so many ways to do that now with platforms. I mean, you have a service or something like that you want to do. There's plenty of places online like Guru.com and Upwork and all these places. You have a business. You have a consulting business already there. Because what's nice about these platforms is they take care of getting customers, which is the most important thing. They take care of the accounting of your brand. They take care of getting paid. You don't have to worry about getting paid. You want to be a pet sitter or something in your house. People making 30, 40 grand of that. So now with these platforms for people with pet sitting, because this is a big growth industry. They don't want to take their dog to a kennel, and they rather have it, to a nice neighbor or something like that, and you make a couple $100 doing that, and it becomes good income, and that's just like part-time stuff around the side, particularly like pets, man. That's great. So, but now these platforms take care of everything. See, you got an extra room to do that, or an empty garage to do that. See, there's so many ways to make money, and you don't have to worry about all this, bull that people say you have to, because somebody with a degree in bull will convince you. So remember, the only important thing in starting a business is a customer. Forget everything else. You'll figure it out. You're worried about accounting. No, you know how to keep a checkbook. Money comes in, money goes out. You have no more money, you're out of business. And that's simple. You give it an accountant, they're going to confuse the hell out of you. You won't even know what the hell to do. And you file with the IRS. You don't mess with the IRS. You do a Schedule C. You could call the IRS or go to the Business Development Center. They'll tell you how to do that, a Schedule C. And really, see, having your own business is the best tax advantage in the world. Because now you could write off part of your home. You could write off your personal jet, if you're rich enough to do that. That's why you think Donald Trump has a personal jet. No, it's a business jet. Every fat cat, no fat cat has a personal jet. They're all business jets. They write off as business expenses, and they use it for personal reasons, is really what it's at. Country clubs. Everybody belongs to a country club. I'd say 90% of them, and write it off as a business expense. That's why they could charge so much. Because it's not their own money. It's business money, and it's also pre-tax money. That's why if you have a business, you don't need that much money to live, because you're writing off part of your house, you're writing off part of your going out to dinner, you're writing off part of your activity, your travel, all this kind of stuff. That's pre-tax dollars, not after-tax dollars. Which is, and they'll never change that in the United States, because that's how the fat cats live, and they're the people who who make sure the laws work for them, right? And so you might as well get in the flow, it is what it's all about. So anybody have a question? I just wanted to get that off my chest, make sure people have a sense of that. I will also do a custom research and also help on the phone, like where can you go to get customers for free or pay for stuff that you really need to buy in business. You either go lesko.com/talk, or we could talk, and then actually after I talk, and that's like $1 a minute, and usually within 15 minutes or so, we could cover a lot of areas and handle your problem specifically, and then I send you links of where to go that I talked about. So you don't have to do the research, hey, what the hell are you saying, or whatever. So I give you links exactly where to get that help. And then also in research. So if you go lesko.com/research, and then you could order a report where I'll show you like 200 sources of money to start or expand a business in whatever city you are, because this is all local money. How do your glasses stay on if they aren't on your eyes? Yeah, I don't know. Actually what it is, I think, is because they're graduated glasses, and so to see the screen, I need I tip them a little, and also it's a little less reflection. I don't have a lot of I get these from China, real cheap. China, isn't that how Trump says China or something like that? Yeah. But that's so it's lesko.com/research or lesko.com/talk, or if you want the free report that shows you 5 of my best starting places for finding free help and money for anything you want to do in life, that's lesko.com/5, the number 5, and then FREE, all in small letters. So the number 5 and FREE, all in small letters. Any other questions that I'd be happy to try to answer before I take off? Oh, nah. Yeah, you had enough of this windbag already, huh? Well, okay, you could also reach me at leskofreeradio@gmail.com. And if you don't hear from me in a day or two, it's just because I just do a lot of stuff, and I'm more or less a one-man band now in my life, so I get screwed up. Okay, you have a question? What is it, Barbara? I didn't see the name. Thanks so much, Mr. Matthew. Not Mr. Lesko. Salvation Army no longer has the car program. You need to remove that from your. It depends. Salvation Army is different everywhere. So if you check in yours, and also then call 211 to find other things. Is there any way to eliminate student loans? Yes, there are programs for that, and they're not all entirely, but redo it. And in your student loans, don't respond to anybody on the internet, because all they're doing is getting money for you for something you could do for free. You want personalfinance.gov. Go to student loans, search student loans repayment or something like that, and they have a step-by-step. There's even an 800 number for the Department of Education. Okay, do you have any assistance running your channel, or do you? I do it on myself. I mean, the first time is a little hard to get over the bumps how to do it, and then it's mechanical. You just turn on the buttons again. I was able to repay my student loans with your help. Oh, thank you so much. See, I mean, that's why I feel I have nothing better to do, in my life. We just want to feel important. That's what we want to do for the rest of our lives, in a way. That's why I think retirement is dumb, And then if you don't feel important, you're not helping somebody else or somebody else in society. That's when you get old and cranky, and nobody wants to talk to you anymore because you're so cranky. You just want to change the world instead of fix it and help it. You think everybody's not good enough anymore. Any other question? Rosemary Wilson joined. Oh, Rosemary, the Dick Van Dyke Show, there was a Rosemary. See, I'm a real old guy. Whatever. Okay, well, I'm going to do these I've been trying to find money to start a business in a small town in Tennessee. How do you keep your time will manage? I don't. Just keep going. I mean, think about it every day. What you want to do? Start a business. It depends. I mean, see, I think, you go to your, if it's a small town, Department of Agriculture has a lot of money for that. But start with your elected official. And then also keep thinking of other ways. Because you don't get the money that you think you need, you have to be creative on how to do it without that money. And that's what I think is the most important thing. Either find a partner, find another way to collaborate with somebody else. And that's what I do a lot when on Lesko Talk, lesko.com/talk. I mean, in 10-15 minutes, I could show you 5 extra ways if you don't get your money where you thought you could get it or whatever, other ways of doing it. And that's the key to success. Not just having one way to do something. If that doesn't work, you go home. Pressure washing business. Wow, see, if you have the equipment, or you could rent it, you could borrow somebody else's, you just need a customer. See, and no matter where you are, I think, who buys more pressure washing business is the government. And they have to give X amount of their sales to small businesses. So if you go to your, just call your congressman and tell them you're looking for help to selling to the government. And there's people who get grants to help you for free how to sell the government. Thank you for your help. Is there legal help to get work visa in the USA? There are nonprofit organizations to do that. What I would do is call 211 and you're looking for immigration issues, legal help with immigrations. I sign up for you 10 minutes of coaching. I hope to talk to you soon. Oh, great. Is that on Talk? Lesko Talk? Lesko.com/talk or whatever. Thank you for your work you do. Thank you. Well, that's nice to hear. I mean, that's what, see, to me, I enjoy doing this, and it's just great that it helps somebody. How do you sell custom-built computers to other businesses improving their tech? You bang on doors, man. You bang on 100 doors, and I think another thing, like here, see what's also neat. You could do videos or something on why they need this. So you do free information on why people need custom computers. That's going to improve their productivity. Are there programs out there for people needing their car repair? Some are, and it depends. What to do is contact the places I would contact your county government at the not human resource, I forget, but at county government, you're looking for help, and also your elected official and 211. They're the 3 places I would start. Now, a lot of them, some of them have car programs because it depends on where you live is really the bottom line. But in theory, a lot of places in the country have those programs, because people need a car in this country to earn income, to get to jobs and things like that. If you on YouTube, If you go to Big Data Lesko, I think if you put in free cars, you'll see my video I have on that. Is your target, you help with, I can't see really, thank you, I'll sign up for a couple of your programs. Thank you. It's hard, they go by so quickly, I can't, how do you find available grants in your area? Yeah, see, I mean, that's what I do. I mean, it's look at that free report that I have, because that's the places I start. And then when I get those places, then that usually leads me, depending on what it is. If it's housing, I get about 100 programs where anybody lives. If it's money to live on, I get about 300. If it's business, I get about 200. Are there programs out there that don't, oops, I think something about income, I wasn't sure. Every program is different. So some may have income requirements, some don't have income requirements. Maybe the income is at $40,000 a year. Others are $100,000 a year. I was just doing some research for a client, in housing. And that's they had an income limitation. And the income limitation was $100,000 a year. Wow. So that's why don't worry about what you think it may or may not be. You go out and get the damn thing first. Find the program. Then worry about it. Because the hard thing is finding the program. And then every program has different requirements. So I could say, or anybody could say something about a program, and it could be right or it could be wrong. It just depends on the program. So that's why it's not worth even arguing, for those kinds of things. Anything else you got there? Okay, well, I'll be back. And stay tuned. I enjoy doing this, and talk to you soon. And don't forget, are you concerned that the massive cuts? No, nothing has been cut. They talk about cuts, but nothing's a cut. Love your videos. Just happened to. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, don't worry about what you see in the headlines and Trump's cutting everything. The programs I'm talking about, they won't stop, and if it does, it's around the edges, and it may mean something 10 years from now, but you need something now, so don't worry about it. Oh, I think they're after me. That must be the White House after me. Where are you live next? I'll probably be here again. Should I do grants for college? Grants, yes, but don't get a loan. There's too many ways to get education and training for free nowadays. It takes work, and you won't have maybe this pedigree that everyone, I want to go to Harvard. Screw it. The name of the game now is skills. It's not pedigrees. And you need skills to survive in the future. Less than pedigree and a shitload of debt that you're going to carry around and ruin your life with. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate every nice word somebody says. I mean, that's food for me to keep going. Yeah, you can apply for the same information in the UK. I don't know. I don't know the programs over there, but I know they're better at the shared economy programs. Man, I'm following that a lot, and they're really ahead of us there. So like money for business and everything, cutting out these bureaucrats in the middle. Are there grants to start a real estate investment company? Yes, there's grants for real estate, and there's a whole bunch of government programs for that. So what you have to do is don't look for something. To me, is you find all the money programs. It's educating yourself about what's available. Then when you get the whole array of what's available, then you say, how can I best use what is out there to solve my goals by trying to say, hey, I need exactly that out there. It's sort of like saying, well, I want to marry a girl who's 5 feet 6.5 inches tall, weighs no more than 112 pounds, and all that. And then some midget's going to walk in the room and you're going to fall in love and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's why it's the same way with money. That you have to find out what's all the options and how best to use the options available instead of trying, I need this option, and you're forcing it in. That's a frustrating way because there'll be nothing that perfect. Read about you in the Clipper ship. Don't know that. Send me that if you have it. Was that recently? Clipper ship strategy. Don't know it. But that's nice. Somebody's talking about me. It's better than just ex-wives. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you again. Talk soon. And peace, ciao, whatever. You do, just have fun. Because if you're having fun today, you don't have to worry about achieving your goal because you're winning today. Okay, so we're filling up. But yeah, I don't know if you watch, I mean, I read a lot of this stuff that's going on. I'm trying to find out what my job is trying to show people the options available to really succeed in our society now, and what's going on and where the new stuff is. Because the new stuff to me is really the important stuff. If you're going all on the traditional stuff, then everybody's there already. The opportunities are in the new stuff, so you got to know about the new stuff. And now what I think this college bubble is about to burst, man. We have more college debt in the history of the world, and it's just getting worse. Actually, what's interesting is college tuition now. People only pay half price. That's the average price that people are paying. So people are going less to college because why? They know it ain't worth it. So, I mean, when in doubt, I guess it is. But man, if you're looking for a job and going to 4 years, the average person comes out with about $40,000 worth of debt now, out of college, and about 40% of those people who graduate are not even making $25,000 a year. So God, you go 4 years, you're in debt up their heister, and why is that? See, and the colleges that everybody promoting college are saying, yeah, go to college, you need it to live better and all this kind of stuff. Man, you know why? Because somebody else is paying the bill. It's sort of like healthcare. You don't pay the bill for healthcare, right? Somebody else does. The doctor doesn't pay the bill, but the doctor says, you need all this healthcare because, otherwise you're going to die because somebody else is paying your bill. And the same way with education. You need all this education or you're going to have a shitty life. Why? Because somebody else you're going to get money from somebody else and then be in hock for the rest of your life. So they're not paying for it, right? So that's the problem. All the salesmen are that way. So you got to be careful of those slick guys on TV. We know how to, talk to make you feel that you're stupid if you don't buy my stuff, and that's what's going on. But the proof is in the pudding. Now, if you look between the lines, what's going on now there, you could go out and get literally a 4-month course for free and with just a high school diploma and start a job for $40K a year. That's right. I've talked to these people. I know it's true. There's more and more popping up, all over the country, and they're really nonprofit. They don't even charge for the training because it's so cheap. And the company, and the more important thing, we have a shortage of people. We have a shortage of people with skills. See, what the new workforce is about is not this pedigree nonsense. Well, where did you go to school? That's why everybody wants to go all these rankings in schools because we're all, trying to impress the other people with some kind of pedigree that we are. Well, you must be smart as hell because you went to that college or whatever. God, but you don't know how to do shit, do you? That's why the skills are what counts now. We're competing in the world. You're competing with a PhD in China. It cost them nothing. And so they're not going to hire you with your math degree or you have a bachelor's or what. No. So you have to get those skills. And that's what there's going on now. It's skills. It's developing skills for the good job. Right now, there's an article in the New York Times today. Here's it. Second route to middle class. Okay, this is what's going on now. The factory jobs of working with your sweat, and making $100,000 a year, that's over in the factory. But now it's technology jobs, and for 4 months, 6 months, or whatever. I was at a meeting last week up in Baltimore with somebody like Tech Hire. Now that's another thing. Look for the group called Tech Hire. They'll take anybody. This is like instead of going out and get an MBA with that stupid bachelor's degree you got, go get a coding degree for free. You go to Tech Hire, you go to, they train you for 6 months you're getting paid while you're training. Paid, right?
paid. When does the last college pay you to come there? No, they did. They want you to go to Hawk for the rest of your life, give them your first 3 children when you have them, and everything. And you can't get rid of the debt. I don't think that's allowed to get rid of in bankruptcy either. The financial industry, man, those people on Capitol Hill making it good for themselves. By the way, that's what's happening now with healthcare. It's turned into a tax cut for $1 trillion, and then we're losing $1 trillion for that it costs for 22 million people that will no longer get healthcare. So we save $1 trillion there and give it as a tax rate to the rich. Anyway, so it's called the middle class, and they're calling it new collar jobs. It's not white collar. It's not blue collar. These are new collar. And it's skills you learn. Everybody needs these skills. You say, well, I'm not technically inclined or all this kind of stuff. Man, that doesn't matter. You're not technically inclined to ride a car probably, or fix it, but you could use it. That's what it's about. It's being familiar enough to use it. And that's why in 6 months. And now the tech hire people, what they do, after they pay you for 6 months to learn about computers, then they get you an internship that pays you for another 6 months, while you're still learning on the job. Now that beats sitting in some stuffy classroom, doesn't it? You're on the job with a bunch of people all doing the same thing, and that's fun, not waiting, looking at that clock. Oh, I remember in class, man, I remember, there was one class where the teacher put a sign on the clock said, "Time will pass, but will you?" And that was aimed at me. I was watching that clock for the whole class. So and now there's another one called Skillful, Skillfull. And see, the government's involved in these things, trying to get people, because that's where the jobs are. There's millions and millions of jobs opening right now that require that. They don't require a bachelor's degree. I just read like IBM. Now that was a big technology when I got into the tech business. They were the biggest people. They have 5,000 openings, and nearly a third of them don't require a college degree. So there's a big tech company, and they don't require college degrees because they need the skills. But if you don't have the skills, so that's why Skillful, that organization, they have grant money, from Gates and all these other people, because we know we're going to be behind in the world if we don't get the talent, we don't create this talent. And what people have to do now is really, instead of getting a master's or a PhD, man, get a coding degree will get you in, because it really boils down to what LinkedIn is involved in this, because LinkedIn shows like what everybody's skills have. See, that's neat. These big platforms, this gigantic data. We could go on and say, hey, who has all these skills? Not what goddamn pedigree you have. Who cares if you have you can't do the goddamn thing. It doesn't matter what piece of paper you have on your wall. But we hire from that pedigree, and so they have. See, they analyze, who's looking for what kind of skills. They analyze who's got what kind of skills and are starting to match them up like that. So if you could just show, hey, I don't have a degree, but I could have those. I know how to do that stuff. And that's how people are getting hired now. And sure, it's not everybody, and that old stuff won't go away overnight or whatever, but that's the growth. It's sort of like radio. When I grew up, the only media we had was radio. And when TV came and said, everybody, radio is going to be gone. Well, it's still around in some form, okay? But the growth was in all these other things. And that's the important thing. You want to be in the growth, because if you're in the shrinking thing, man, it's like Mad Max. Everybody's fighting each other for the last gallon of gasoline. But if money's going out all over it, jobs are plentiful, all that kind of, man, everybody's treats each other nicely, don't they? So that's what's cool about it. So that's why look for these kind of opportunities. How do you find them? Well, it's really nonprofit organizations and the government. It's free. If you go and Google this, you're going to get some company who sees this coming on, and they'll charge you thousands of dollars. Now, if you have thousands of dollars, fine. You'd probably go to college if you did, right? But you don't. So what's happening, people are going into Hawk for this kind of stuff and doing that. No, find the free ones first. How do you do that? Well, one way is to go to your Career One-Stop Center. Your Career One-Stop Center, that's in your county. So if you just go Google county, your county, maybe like I live in Montgomery County, and put career one stop, or now they're changing a lot of names to something called workforce. See, it's our workforce. That's what we're investing a lot in. There's a lot of money. Now, they have at every state and every county level to train like that. And if you're out of work or whatever, looking for a job, you just got graduated, and hey, I want to get into tech. Well, there's $8,000 you could get from these offices to go and learn for 6, 8, 10 months, to learn how to code or the basics of this, and then go. Or one of these other nonprofit organizations. See, Tech Hire and Skillful nonprofits. Another way to do it is find the nonprofits in your area that do job training. See, because that's what they're doing, is trying to make the country better. Everybody in Google, the people are trying to get money from you. Yeah. So the people who are trying to make the country better aren't in Google because they're not getting money from you. They're giving you money. So they don't know how the algorithm is to be on the front page. So when you go in and try to find them in Google, you won't unless you know their name. And who would have known, Tech Hire? You wouldn't have known that. And if you go, I want a technology job or something, then the sharks come out, right? And it's going to cost you $5, $6, $8, $10, $12, $15,000, before they finish with you. But the guy down the street who works for the government says the same thing for free. But you don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. And that's too bad, because we're all struggling. We all need all the help we can get. Now look at this. An analysis of this data, because that's what they're trying to do, is point this out. Because if we have jobs over here with that require one skill, and we're just looking for people with have a degree in that skill, that's nonsense. Because the guy who's been tinkering with it down his basement and is better usually than the guy who's learned it in school, because boy, I think I could make a lot of. My mom said I have to take this course, kind of thing. No, and so these people are able to be identified and get this work now. And now, organizations are starting to appreciate that because they need the people. It's supply and demand. If you go what everybody else does with the lousy degrees that everybody else has and everything, we got lots of that. So it's fun to want to be wanted. Here's the kind of hard skills, and it's all technology oriented. But see, and the jobs are at least $100,000 a year eventually. Not a minute. So without a high school, or even with a high school diploma, and sometimes even with just a high school diploma, you start at 30 or 40, and you could go up to 80, 90, $100,000. Nursing, same way. Healthcare is the same thing. You want to go to healthcare? Actually, a good place to start is Career One Stop Center to find out about the training money. Go to your community college. Screw anybody else that's trying to sell you, training or anything. Forget it. They're just figuring out how to sell you stuff. That may or may not be good, and I really can't judge. But all I know, it's costing you a hell of a lot more than you really need to pay. So why even look unless everything else it fails? And the problem is you haven't found everything else, because they're the people you're going to find first, because they're making a lot of money from you, so they're spending a lot of money trying to get you. And they'll get you because they're good at this. They're better than I am. So here, the skills in demand, according to LinkedIn in 2016, cloud computing experience. And I don't know what the hell cloud computing is, and I have an MBA in computers, but you can learn them in a few months. Look all the idiots doing this stuff. Data mining and statistical analysis, smartphone app development, data storage engineering, user interface design, network security expertise. So what? Even the programs they'll teach them math for free, they'll do all this stuff that you don't have to go and pay $50,000 a year to do anything. But see, the important thing, you say, I'm not needed anymore because the robots will take over everything. No, because you need those soft skills. Robots don't have the soft skills. Communication, curiosity, adaptability, teamwork, empathy. That's something the computer will never have, is empathy. Time management and open-mindedness. So it really, we're in a society where it's going to be both. Like now, you've read about how the computers are beating everybody in chess and what is that computer game? Not computer game, Jeopardy and all that kind of stuff. Computer beats them, But who beats everybody? A computer and a human. That's where it works, and that's what's happening, in the future with all that. So that's where the opportunity is, and it's opportunity now, an opportunity that doesn't cost you money, and it's growing. And the same way with apprenticeship programs. Man, you only need a high school diploma. If you have a degree, that's fine. You just blew an extra $100,000 or whatever it was in college, and you start again earning while you're learning. And, eventually, you're making $100,000 a year. 80, 90, 100 is not unheard of in these skills. And we need them. That's why if Trump gets this infrastructure thing going, we don't have enough skilled people to do it. Right now, they can't grow. Like Colorado is growing like, I was saying pancakes, but that doesn't make any sense at all, does it? It's growing like hell. But they don't have enough skilled people to help build stuff. And so that's it. Go to your community college. Look for certificate programs. And 6 months or whatever, like somebody said about healthcare, man, in this area here, like in a year or so, they're looking for sleep apnea technicians. Everybody has got sleep apnea. They can't sleep. Why? Because they hate their job and not making enough money. So now we have a new way to cure them. We got a sleep apnea technician. They come in and they watch people sleep. Now, how the hell they do that, I don't know. Well, I'm sure they put up for gadget. My son was involved in one of these, so I really know. So that's it. Your community college, your career one-stop center, and nonprofits. How do you find the nonprofits? There's two ways. There's one is you go to 211.org, wherever you are, and you look up job training. And depending on where you are, and that will get some, I don't know if it gets all, because now there's another database that I talked about it in an earlier one, GuideStar, and that you could go online, GuideStar, that they keep track of all of the nonprofit organizations in the world. And what you can do is go and look in your state for job training. So in other words, you will find you're looking for job training nonprofit organizations in your state. And I just did that before we went online here for Maryland. 179 nonprofit organizations that are training people for free for jobs. Right? And what do you and I know about jobs? It's those people with signs on the bus or in the subway. You hate your job? Come to the university, and you'll be, hit at the water cooler. God, after you pay them $100,000 or whatever it is. So make sure you know your alternatives before you make those kind of decisions. And there's a lot changing in our society, and it's not going backwards. It's going forward. We're all in like white water rapids. I just read a book and he had this analogy. It was like, when you ever go whitewater rapids, and you can't get your little boat going the right way. Well, you can't stop. You can't put the oil in the water and go backwards so you can stop. No, the way to survive is you got to go with the flow, right? You got to go. Otherwise, you'll capsize and you'll be water over your head and never get out of that thing. So that's what our life is like now. It's changing so fast, nobody could keep up with it. That's why everybody's pissed. They can't, like me too, I'm pissed. I can't make money like I used to. That doesn't work anymore. We all have to do that, and it's changed. But if you're just banging your head against the wall trying to do that same old shit again, all you do, you get a sore head. And then the health industry grows because you're buying more aspirin and going to the hospital more. So go with the flow. Find out where it's going and try to jump in and float down that stream where it's going. Okay, let me know. Remember, I have a free download of my 5 best places that I turn to when I go and do research, reports for people. I do research reports like, now I'm just finishing one. 350 pages of all the money that's available just in Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz, California. 300 and some pages worth of sources of free money and help to do what you want to do in life. That's what I'm doing. And that's at leskotutor.com. And then, but if you want the 5 places I go for free are like that 211, the people that help you with any kind of business thing, and also the financial assistance, technical help, and all these stuff are free. 5 best free places if you go to lesko.com/5 free. That's lowercase. 5 free, FREE lowercase. Download that sucker and you'll get my secrets. But again, the more I could teach that it's there and how to use it, because if you're just using Google or whatever, Google's great. We really can't live without, but you have to be careful. It's like having an automobile and don't know how to drive. It's a great thing, but if you don't know how to do it, man, you're hitting everything and bouncing off the walls and killing people. On Google, people know how to use that who want your money. And they know how to use that better than you do or I do or whatever. So that's why you have to be careful. And one rule of thumb is whenever you're on Google, forget about .coms. All you want to look at are .govs, G-O-V, and .org, O-R-G. That'll keep you away from the sharks most of the time. And that's just a safer bet to start off when you're looking for anything. And they're the kind of tips in that free download I have. So that's lesko.com/5free. Who said it's free? I did. Thanks for putting up with me, guys. Take care.